All right, we are live. Hello, and this is Talk for Glory, episode 57. Damn, really can't get over the fact that this is 57 episodes. This is another episode. Whoops, that was another bad echo. Anyway, guys, this is another episode where I'll be doing it on my own. Smooth has some things to take care of. That's fine. I'll be here. Well, I won't be here alone, guys. This is episode 57. This is Talk for Glory, but this is a collab. And on this podcast, we have another wrestling podcast. Viewers, welcome to Sounds Like Kayfabe, the Icon Bobby, and Justin Chaos.
What's up, guys? Well, I am Justin Chaos, and we are from Sounds Like Kayfabe to me, a podcast based out of San Antonio, Texas. And I am joined with my co-host and lovely.
Hold on. Let me do this, Justin. Let me do this. I know we're on a different podcast. But let me do this. The Icon, Bobby White.
We tell him to stop doing that, but we don't have the heart to tell him that that there's something wrong with him. But it's fine. The Icon.
Can't tell Shane to stop introducing himself as the best in the world. I don't think you guys can stop Bobby over here.
Oh, zero chance. We've already just accepted the fact.
Exactly.
Well, so Enigma, we really appreciate you having us on the show, man, and we're glad to be part of episode 57 with you.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. We've been waiting for this, so it's gonna be fun, man.
Yeah, we got three guys here. I'll talk about wrestling, but we got three. Well, actually, technically 6 letters. We got to talk about one company or the other. We got NXT and AEW both on Wednesdays. So just like back in WCW where we had Monday Night Wars, now we have Wednesday Night Wars.
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting Wednesday. Come October 2nd. The one thing I'm really excited about is NXT for 2 whole hours. But then right now they're doing it smart. They're doing 1 hour on USA, and then they have to do 1 hour on the streaming show. Or I'm sorry, in the streaming app, because the fact they're wrapping up the show suits. It just so happens it just perfectly coincides that the first 2 hour show is going to be the same night that AEW starts up.
Honestly, I've told Smooth this plenty of times. The fact that AEW is on Wednesday and NXT is going to be on Wednesday, the NXT part doesn't feel earned. This just feels more of a, oh yeah, we're going to have NXT on Wednesdays because Vince is shitting himself.
Yeah, right? No, it's definitely, it feels like a desperation move, especially the amount of times that they've asked both Triple H and Vince McMahon, what do you think of AEW? And they're like, AEW? Never heard of it. And it's like, okay, so obviously you guys are covering up whatever fear you may have of this company that could be the one to finish what WCW started.
Yes, but they're not competition according to them. So,
well, according to them,
I mean?
Yeah, but I could tell you that I would never hit you, Bobby. But then, when we meet in public, it looks like I'm the kind of person to do it. So the fact of the matter is, like, AEW says they're not competition, but just because they say they're not competition does not take away from the fact that they will be pulling viewers potentially from NXT. And WWE has been around long enough to understand when somebody is, whether willingly or not, cutting into their business. And I promise you, they
do know that, but they also know not to give 2 shits.
Yeah, well, the best thing to do is just fake it till you make it. I mean, they keep that cool poker face.
I remember when TNA decided to commit suicide by having Hulk Hogan say, "Hey, I got it, brother. I got it, Dixie. This is going to be amazing."
Well, now they've further committed suicide with Mark Cuban buying them out. Now they're further committed suicide.
I believe Impact has been in the grave for God knows how long at this point. But it's already dead. Let's see if AEW doesn't fall down the same route.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Well, I mean, the only thing that I'm actually really concerned about is, once something like TNA and Impact, once Impact eventually dissipates into nothing, what happens to all that talent? And I'm hoping that we get to see a good mixture, because I don't want to see anything bad happen to WWE, except maybe bad might be Vince finally retires and we actually get competent writers to give us the storylines we want. But then also we could have a lot of that talent go to AEW and bolster what is already a decent lineup.
What do you think about I don't know if you guys heard, but Kenny Omega the best bout. Well, actually, I can't say best bout machine because it's been a while since he had a good ass match.
Yeah.
Says, and I quote, "You guys would be openers while I'm main eventing." What do you think about the shit talking from Kenny Omega to NXT?
He has every right to shit talk. I mean, to be honest, look at his track record.
He has a great track record, but then also, I mean, you would think that somebody with a great track record would put every effort into making his current appearance in AEW to be his top tier. And I mean, I haven't seen the Kenny Omega that's been pulling off like 5-6 star matches that everyone's like, oh my god, Omega and Okada is the best match ever. Like Omega and Pac should have been one of the best matches ever. And
I think the fact that it was second on the card was what caught everyone off guard. I think everyone was ready to watch a great pay-per-view. Yeah. And then when you hear Omega's theme song, you're like, what the fuck? Was he gonna cut a promo before the match? And then you hear Pac's music, and it's like, this is second on the card.
Yeah. It's like this is their response to that, and that. So I don't think Omega really has any grounds to really say that necessarily, because as much as he wants to say that he's the best, NXT has some great talent that is going to make an impact against AEW 100%.
Right. Like I can already, like, just talking about Wednesdays, let's admit the fact that the Undisputed Era is the hottest thing in NXT right now.
100%. I could not agree more with you. When Roderick Strong won the title, you can my fiance got to see a grown man jump up and down going, fuck yeah, fuck yeah, fuck yeah. So I was super excited, and I was totally stoked, and I agree with you 100%.
There is right now at the moment nothing bigger than the Undisputed Era, all members holding gold in NXT. Right now, I don't think AEW can even scratch something like that.
Not even close. The only thing that they've done so far to make any news as big as Undisputed Era getting all the titles is fucking Jericho losing it at a steakhouse.
It became a fucking meme. I'm sorry. I'm excited for AEW, but it's like, okay, you got a 48, 49-year-old Jericho. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna shit on him like I shit on the Undertaker. Freaking look like he's about to die soon in the ring. And you can ask Smooth this. I have been saying since 2015, right after the streak ends, that Undertaker will die in the ring.
You've heard our podcast. I mean, we talk shit about the Undertaker all the time.
Everyone except Raul. Raul is convinced that he is the best in the world, like Shane McMahon. And we can tell him that it's not. Undertaker needs to go away.
I mean, maybe 30, 40 years ago you can say that, but freaking you really have to think when you see the Undertaker, is he doing his little sit-up thing, or is he saying press my life alert?
Right.
Right, exactly.
But back to Wednesdays, we're very off topic, and I fucking love talking about wrestling. But here's the thing. Jericho lost the AEW championship, became a meme, a little bit of the bubbly, all that good shit. And you have to take NXT serious right now. Adam Cole, the greatest thing in NXT right now. I'm sorry to say, he's bigger than Gargano. You have Red Dragon or Undisputed or whatever the hell you guys want to say. You guys aren't like indie ROH fans. You have O'Reilly and Bobby Fish tag champs, which I will say AEW at the moment has a better tag division than NXT in the main roster. So they have the tag division, no problem. You have the mid-card title that Roderick's holding, and it's like, okay, who the fuck are they going to be the mid-carders? Joey Janela, Darby Allin, and Jimmy Havoc?
At best.
More power to you for making them the mid-carders. But when you keep putting on matches like the triple threat they had at All Out, you're going to say, no, one of them should be AEW World Champion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, one of them will be. Or one of them is, and you know what I mean? I think the Undisputed Era is going to be fucking phenomenal, to be honest.
So one of the big things about the way Undisputed Era is being presented, right? And with the tag team division at NXT being very sparse, they moved the Viking Experience, or whatever the fuck you want to call them now. They moved the War Raiders up way too early.
Yes, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
The Forgotten Sons, I still think are a powerhouse of tag teams, but they're not presented in the right way. I think that every single time they get any steam going, they're like, all right, cool. Also, now you're gonna lose the Street Profits. It's like, wait, what? Because you just gave us the ability to smash Undisputed Era, to smash all these people, and now you're gonna undo everything we just did.
Honestly, I love Breezango and everything. I think it's a very PG over team. I think you would have had Breezango in the era where Rated RKO was a thing and Rated RKO would slap them. So they're a very PG team that I think a lot of kids would love. I think a lot of kids that are like 11, 12, 13 would be like, oh, I really like this team. But when you have the Forgotten Sons that look like they can be a dominant force, lose to a team like Breezango, it's like, can I take you serious?
Yeah, exactly. And you know what I mean? Like Breezango's, I like Breezango, but yeah, you need to get Undisputed Era. I think that would be actually a good fucking an even better feud. You know, is them two, but I just think that there's nobody who can touch Undisputed Era right now. Nobody.
So they build them the right way. When Roderick had his match with Velveteen, and all of Undisputed Era came out, and they said the one line, they said the wolves are on the hunt or something like that, and I was like, that is amazing. That is great because they had this whole appeal of Undisputed Era that they're going to do whatever it takes to get there. Right now, you have people like Breezango who that whole gimmick didn't work in WWE later in the years, and they became like a joke. When that came up, that was just a bathroom break. And now they're doing that again at NXT. And in my mind, it's like, okay, so either you're going to revise this whole Breezango formula and make something stand out in a different way, right? You're going to make them maybe a little bit more edgy, or you're going to give them just a little more freedom to be not as PG, or it's going to be the same rehash. And you're just saying, here, other brand, take this shit while we try to elevate these other tag teams. Because I think Prince Pretty on his own was doing a goddamn good job until Fandango came out.
Yeah, I think so too, and I just think that when they put them two together, he lost his steam a lot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And it just wasn't. It was good for the time being when they were tag team, you know, things like that. But then I think they needed to be in NXT and they needed to get revamped. So I think it's a little bit better for them. But I still think they need to start a program with Undisputed Era.
But yeah, they can definitely build an entire NXT show around Undisputed Era. I can kind of see how Undisputed Era may be. They may not go to main roster because honestly, with going to a 2-hour show, I can say I personally think that NXT is becoming its own fulfilled brand or full-fledged brand. But you can kind of see Undisputed Era taking this whole Nexus appeal on NXT.
I think they can be bigger than the Nexus.
Oh, I agree with that. But I mean, what I'm saying is like they're going to smash everyone at NXT, and they're going to have to build either one hell of a roster or one hell of a stable, or there's going to maybe when Ciampa comes back, God willing, his neck is cleared soon, that maybe we can finally see. I'd like to see him take the championship again because he was one of my favorite champs. Just because, you know, the whole idea of speak softly and carry a big stick. I mean, the dude didn't even have intro music for the longest time.
Yeah, he was pulling on Dolph before Dolph made it funny.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I think that Undisputed Era can carry the NXT brand by itself. And when we compare NXT to AEW, since AEW has only had 4 pay-per-views, 5 technically with
All In.
With All In, I just feel like AEW has has a big opponent right now, and they need to do what they can to set themselves aside from NXT, because right now NXT is going to steamroll them, in my opinion. Although there is something to be said about, you know, the curiosity. We've been watching NXT for this entire time, and granted, this is going to be their first 2-hour live show. We are going to wonder to ourselves, dude, I have to check out AEW to see what their first show is like. Mm-hmm. And if their first show is not electric, if their first show is not to that level that people are expecting it to be, then at that point, I can honestly say that I personally would just make Wednesdays my NXT day.
Now that is a thing, but here's the thing about I'd say like a situation like that. I feel like if you've watched Monday Night Raw and you've watched SmackDown, and you know, let's add some 205 Live in there, and then you watch NXT, you have consumed in the total of 3 days 8 hours of wrestling.
Yeah.
Now, if you can do that, and the thing is, it's 8 hours of wrestling from the same company.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Yeah, you're right. I don't know about that. You know,
yes, that's one of the self decision if you feel like you can do it.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, I only watch takeovers, and whenever I find out a championship's on the line, other than that, I won't watch NXT.
Yeah, but they're building NXT right now as like a separate, not even a separate brand, but like a separate company. I feel like that's how I feel like they're building NXT right now.
Oh, 100%. Like I said earlier, that NXT is becoming its own brand in its own right.
Wait, now I'm sorry to cut you off, but now that it's a brand, do you think we can add it into Survivor Series? Can we get a Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT now?
So that was something I was talking to one of our other co-hosts on Sounds Like Kayfabe. I was talking to Raul Rude, and we were discussing how would Survivor Series or like the Clash Survivor Series, like Clash Champions. How was NXT going to stack into that? Those pay-per-views where either it's going to be Raw versus SmackDown, or we're going to have people jumping for championships. I mean, are the NXT championships up for grabs? A, and then B, when it comes down to something like Survivor Series, are we to imply that like the championship matches are going to be a triple threat? I mean, I don't know. And that would be interesting to see. But then, I think the other thing too is NXT going full time on USA on Wednesdays is going to be beneficial for them because there's a lot of people who don't watch NXT.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because they don't want to. Maybe they don't have internet, or maybe because that like me, I don't watch NJPW.
Maybe they don't have the network.
Yeah, they're not in the network, and I don't watch NJPW. That's because of the fact that I have not found the will to go out of my way to watch it. I'll watch highlights on YouTube, but I'm not going to watch it live or stream it on Fight or anything like that, right?
Yes.
And I think there's a lot of people who treat NXT that same way. So them going to USA is going to big up their fan base. So I think that we're going to get a lot of people who are really going to be diehard Undisputed fans, or who are really going to resonate with the way Gargano wrestles or something like that. And I think that's going to be a turning point for the brand, at which point WWE as a whole is going to have to decide, how can we bring this in? Are we going to have specific takeovers, or are we going to start bringing in Raw and SmackDown into the takeovers, or what? And I think the reason why NXT has been so successful is because they have not oversaturated themselves with pay-per-views. And if Triple H, God willing, still maintains as much control as he does, I feel like we're not going to see a billion different pay-per-views, but we are going to see maybe an increase by one or two, and we're going to see the quality go up.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, so with that, I am not ashamed to admit it, but I barely watched NXT, and it was because most of the time I didn't have time. But second thing is, I would just basically watch the previews. Now that it's actually on USA Network and I can actually record it, so I can come back and watch it whenever, I think that's going to be a good thing for a lot of people. They can actually record it instead of going onto the network trying to watch it if they don't have internet and things like that. They can actually do it that way.
I was going to say that now that it's on cable, I feel like NXT has a bigger a bigger way of saying, "Hey, I'm here. You have no excuse." Because I remember I talked with Young Smooth that reason why I won't go out and watch NXT or 205 is because I don't want to go to my Xbox, turn that shit on, go to the network, wait for that thing to load. Like, just talking about it right now sounds like a hell of a lot of work.
Yeah.
But that gives me a headache just you saying that.
Now all I gotta do is freaking go grab at the controller, put 16. Hey, NXT is on the USA.
Yeah, and see, and that's all gonna play into the reason why I think NXT is gonna explode. Because, dude, I mean, like, when it comes down to NXT, they have some of the more unique personalities. They really let them stretch their legs there, and I think that's gonna pick up with a lot of the audience. And I don't think that people are gonna see the significance yet. Because with it coming to USA, a lot of people just got the first taste of NXT, and it's only 1 hour. Imagine when they go 2 hours and they start showing all the things that NXT does, like it's going to be a big deal. The fact that one of the biggest things, in my opinion, happened on the network, and I'm sure that a lot of people missed out on it, when Walter was on NXT. Walter has already stated that he's not going stateside very often. So the fact that he's on NXT, big deal to me. And I was like, holy shit, it's Imperium, and now it's Kushida and Walter. They're looking at having a match. And it's like, dude, that's amazing.
Yeah, because I know you said that you don't watch a lot of NJPW, but Kushida in New Japan was a junior, basically a cruiserweight in New Japan. And to see him fight someone like Walter, it's like, well, this dude's a swole dude. And in MSG, I don't know if you watched 205 last week, Kushida made his 205 live debut. And this is the route I believe they should have been doing with Neville or Pac, however you want to say it, where he's on 205 live, but let him spread his wings, and go to different places. You don't want him on the main roster? Fine. Let him go to NXT UK every here and there.
Well, yeah, we actually the 1 hour after Leo Rush had a match.
I heard it was match of the night.
Yeah, no, it was an amazing match, and the best part is like it was the night after, or it was the night of NXT, where Leo Rush put out a tweet saying like, "Did you miss me?" or something like that, and I was like, "Dude, where have you been?"
I was just about to say, like, we haven't heard anything from him since he was on Raw with Bobby Lashley, and nobody knew like what the fuck he was doing. He was on 205 Live, I think, briefly, and then he just vanished.
Well, and that comes down to say that when he was in WWE as Lashley's mouthpiece, he had a few matches here and there, but it was nothing that was electrifying.
Squash matches.
Exactly. He shows up in NXT and takes it, and I was like, "Damn it, dude! This is the Leo Rush that if he was on main roster doing this stuff, no one would have cared if he was as charismatic and honestly kind of boorish as he was. Dude, the dude can wrestle."
I honestly believe main roster is full of fans that are kids that have parents that are wrestling fans, and those parents are in their 20s and 30s and 40s. So I believe if they would have seen like Leo Rush doing like 30 flips, they'd be like, "What the fuck is this? This isn't wrestling." Yeah. I'm pretty sure they're used to seeing 10-minute headlocks.
Yeah, see, that's a good example too of why NXT is going to appeal to a lot of different people, because the fact that you kind of still have a little bit of the classic wrestling stuff where they're still doing the sizing each other up, and they're still doing all the different grapples that take forever to get out of, and all the weird ways to build up heat or build up that pop in the audience. Mm-hmm. But you also have a lot of the new high flyers. You have some of these new things. Like, I guarantee you, before they hit main roster, if people would have watched the way that War Raiders move in the ring, they would have said, "What the hell is this?" Because this is like Ringling Brothers stuff. Two giant dudes like doing suicide dives out of the ring or doing fucking moonsaults. Like, that shouldn't happen, but it does because NXT helps them get to that level.
And like, let's say you've never seen an episode of NXT, people get called up and you're just like, "Who the fuck is this person?" But like, let's say you're an indie person. You'll be like, "Oh shit, I remember War Machine. I remember Leo Rush. I remember them in PWG and ROH. Hell, even people like EC3. Remember how he was good in TNA? I don't know what the fuck we have here."
Yeah, all we have now is them cashing in the fact that, hey, look, we have EC3. He's not doing anything. He hasn't even. At the very least, I was expecting a 24/7 at least a chance to get it. But all he
did get it. He got it on a house show.
He got it. Oh, okay. So then it was never actually aired. And why isn't it aired? Because he was such an amazing talent in NXT. That's where I saw him. I didn't see him in the indie stuff. So or at least not the indie stuff, but like I would say not the WWE, outside the WWE. I never saw him.
I swear to God, this is how it went in the office when Vince was signing EC3. I swear to God, I'm pretty sure this is how it went. "All right, Vince, so am I getting a push? I was good in NXT. I mean, in TNA." And he was like, "Sure, I got it. Just sign here, Derek Bateman." Wait, what? I mean, EC3. We can't say Carter. Next, like he's just like rubbing his hands saying Derek Bateman. Just freaking that guy was a fucking loser.
But I was gonna say, leave it to Justin to bring up EC3 in any podcast that he's in.
No. Actually, technically, I didn't bring up EC3 this time. That was Enigma. So don't you come at me, Bobby. Just because I think Enigma deserves a push too. But just because EC3 hasn't gotten the push, that's the part that pisses me off. It's like we have all this talent who came up, and I'm really glad, because at first I wanted Gargano and Ciampa. I was really pushing for them. And now I see what they did with a lot of the talent they picked up. Ricochet is 1 in a million so far, because all the talent they pulled up.
They dropped the ball with. They atomic bombed Ricochet. I'm sorry. They have done absolutely nothing.
It's just like Aleister Black too.
But see, when you compare what Ricochet has done so far versus a lot of the other call-ups, he has gotten way more attention. He's actually he's the only person so far to have any kind of lasting feud with anybody, much less he had a lasting feud with AJ Styles. And for somebody coming up, that was kind of a big deal. Aleister Black got mad at his door because no one wanted to knock on it. And it's like, dude, you're making me look like a crazy person.
That should have been Bray.
Oh, 100%. It should have been Bray. There's a lot of people who could have been. And honestly, I was kind of hoping that when Corbin was walking around like, "Yeah, I'm King Corbin," that Aleister Black was going to answer his call, say, "You're not that tough." That would have been a cool way to do it, because then Aleister Black could have, done something. But the bad thing is you can't have someone come in and beat the shit out of Baron Corbin just yet, because you need to have him maintain a little bit of that heat.
Wait, what exactly? I'm sorry, but main roster wise, Baron Corbin from main roster to NXT, two different people. I don't know where this shit should have been happening at NXT. I believe he should have been an NXT World Champion 2 times, just like Joe. And Baron Corbin's a fucking meme on main roster. He has enough heat from beating Kurt Angle at Mania that can last him in 2 years. That he has that much heat. There is no reason why he needs King of the Ring.
No, there's no reason at all. And this is time and time again a conversation I try to have very slowly with Bobby because he doesn't believe me. The fact of the matter is when Baron Corbin retired Kurt Angle, he had the most legitimate heat somebody could ever have, because that should have been John Cena that did it, and it wasn't. It was Baron Corbin. And when Baron Corbin got that 1, 2, 3, there was not a single person clapping. Most people are like, boo, they're booing him. And people were really upset. They went to Twitter to tell Baron Corbin he's a piece of shit. So now you have this person who has legitimate heat. They could have pushed a title run on him, and it would have been a fantastic title run. You think that Daniel Bryan coming out calling people fickle and calling people like garbage people was a big deal? Imagine having someone coming out with a title that represents like the best of the best and gets to look out at the crowd and tell everyone, you guys are all below me. You guys are all beneath me. I'm the one who buried your American hero and this and that. That would have been fantastic. But
yeah, that would have been legitimate heat. But no, we got Baron Corbin taking 3 L's to Seth Rollins.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm pulling for Seth. I'm not saying I was, because Seth, I was just having high hopes because the Shield reunion kind of stabbed Rollins and the IC title at the same time. Like how to kill Seth Rollins' prestige.
Yeah.
Form the Shield.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no lie to that at all.
So when I saw the Universal title, I was like, okay, looks like they're gonna revamp just like they did with the IC title. Nope, let's do Baron Corbin with 3 times. And that was all summer.
Man,
yeah, that's true.
Something else that we want to bring up Rollins real quick. Something else that I cannot wait for Rollins to lose the title. I love Rollins, I do, but just like every other wrestler out there, once they have the title for long enough, it becomes too much, right? It's like eating one flavor of ice cream too much. You're like, eventually I'm getting sick of this. And it's really, the ice cream is only good when you really want it, right?
Yeah.
So when Seth Rollins or when Roman Reigns or anything like that, when they're champions, eventually it gets too much. When they're chasing that title is where they're exciting. I don't know why I said Roman Reigns, because he's almost never exciting. Although his match with Rowan, it wasn't his fault that the crowd got a pop. Luke Harper, he came out, you beautiful son of a bitch, and you helped your brother out. That was amazing. But slowly, for some reason, I'm finding myself I'm not hating on Roman as much, because he's no longer. Yeah, he's no longer in the title scene, and now I kind of want to see him do something with the title, because now it's like, dude, you know what? You've been paying your dues, fighting these bullshit fights. You've been jobbing, essentially, a high-level jobbing, but you've been jobbing, period, and maybe you do deserve a shot at the WWE Championship. And if you can hold it for a while, hey, man, give him a couple months with it, and then have him lose it to fucking Brock Lesnar again.
Actually, that's interesting.
Please don't say that.
That's actually interesting. You say the TV exposure and who's not getting enough and who's getting enough, because on the AEW side, Cody, I'm not gonna say he's getting like the vast majority of it, but he has yet to lose. Like I know there's a whole bunch of AEW marks out there being like, oh, Cody's not losing because he's the boss, and they're just like, yeah, that's why he let the Young Bucks pin him. He took the pin.
Yeah,
but.
I mean, to me personally, on that note, I said this when we were watching All Out. I love Cody, but I don't know. I don't see why he should be getting those rubs. Like, basically, he's getting rubs, and he shouldn't be. He should be giving the rubs to whoever else. You know what I mean?
Whoever else doesn't matter. Cody has yet to lose. There's your reason. But
something that I try to, this is how I looked at it, right? I get the idea of like, he needs to be able to lose to show that, hey, I may be the CEO of AEW, but also I'm a team player. We want to see that, but also when it comes down to it, he's such a face in the company, and they need to push this brand. And with only 5 shows, they needed to make sure that they put on a good match. Now, that's not to say that if Cody lost, it'd be a bad match. In fact, I think that if he would have lost to his brother, it would have been an interesting turnout. But still, I mean, like, when it comes down to all of his matches so far, there's a reason why I have fallen out of love with the AEW pay-per-view, and why I'm so excited to see what they can do with the show, because their pay-per-views have gone from Double or Nothing was fucking phenomenal. It was a great show.
I'll admit to that.
And then it slowly declined. It went from, okay, this is amazing, to, okay, what's happening? And then, I liked All Out. Honestly, I thought it was a decent show. The best match, and I will argue, is either going to be the ladder match, because the Lucha Brothers are fucking great. The Young Bucks are growing on me, but the fact that everyone does super kicks, everyone and their mom, like I'm kind of getting over it.
Yeah, but the thing is, every company does a fucking super kick at this point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and the fact that they call it Super Kick Party, it's like, all right. So I mean, I guess they kind of own up to the fact that it's just nothing but super kicks. But the three-way, the fatal three-way, the triple threat
between Joey, Havoc, and Darby, loved it. I will agree with you.
Amazing.
My two favorite matches.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so I think that the fact that they only had 2 matches, but the funny thing is, I'm not a huge Meltzer fan. Rather, I'm not gonna say I'm not a Meltzer fan, but I don't cling to his every word like some folks do. But I will say that the fact that on his whole criterion list of what gets how many stars, the fact that AEW has had 5 pay-per-views and every pay-per-view has had a 5-star match,
I mean, call bullshit on that.
It does say something to it. What the legitimacy behind it or not, the fact is AEW is trying different things. Maybe it's because they're hitting the heartstrings of the Attitude Era for Meltzer, or maybe there's something that's happening that is catching his attention that we're not seeing, or maybe he's just marking out and saying this deserves a 5-star.
Yeah, maybe that is the case.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. There, just like Enigma said, I call bullshit on that, because I mean, there may not. I mean, there's a lot of matches that are on AEW that I'm like, people are like, that was a 5-star match. Yeah,
like
but
match of the night and shit. Like,
yeah,
actually, no. At best, you guys get like a 4.1, and that's me being generous.
Exactly.
Realistically, it should be like 3.8.
Exactly.
This is the exact reason why, though, I completely skipped Fight for the Fallen and Fyter Fest, because, to be honest with you, if I can just be 100% honest, I don't give a shit about those two. They were such undercard pay-per-views that I was like, okay, cool. It's going to be like an hour and a half or something like that. Yeah, I'll go ahead and skip it. One of them you had to pay for, right? I think, or no, were they both free?
What happened?
Were Fyter Fest and
Fyter Fest was free,
and Fight for the Fallen was free, or no?
No. Fight for the Fallen, you had to pay. Fyter Fest was free.
100% glad I never paid for Fight for the Fallen, because I would not pay for that shit.
Me neither.
That's why I thought that All Out was going to be such a big deal, because I mean, look at the way WWE does it. They have shit show, decent pay-per-view. It's been a while since we've seen a decent pay-per-view from WWE, but I mean, having said that, they haven't had pay-per-views that have been completely shit in a long time, except for I would argue Clash of the Champions.
Yes, that was pretty horrible.
Yeah, I was.
And SummerSlam was fucking shit.
Oh, SummerSlam was a letdown, though. That was a huge letdown. There were so many title changes that should have happened but didn't, and I just, it makes you wonder, when it comes down to WWE, do they actually? I mean, they care, but they probably care a lot less than you think they do. I mean, it's really what it comes down to. Not having, not seeing people walk away with championships, or like, I still think that if they would have had Randy Orton win over Kofi, it could have led to an interesting storyline. But then obviously they went to a different direction. So looking back at it retrospectively with the events that have unfolded so far, yeah, it doesn't make sense. But
I honestly believe that a Randy versus Brock rematch would have been a lot more interesting than Kofi versus Brock, because let's be honest here, Kofi versus Brock sounds like a slaughter.
Dude, and I promise you, they're going to put, unless for some reason, I say some reason, right? I feel like Brock is obviously going to win, right? Yeah. But it also feels within the realm of possibility that they would still try to push Kofi so over to make sure, like, oh, look, he beat Brock clean on his first try. This could be a good way to push a Kofi heel turn, because maybe now he's got a big ass head and he's like, yeah, I'm going to beat everybody because I beat Brock Lesnar.
I don't even think he needs to beat Brock to have a big ass head right now. Hey guys, hey Woods, all right, I got it. Hey guys, new day. You guys want to hear a joke? Raise your hand if you're Grand Slam.
Yeah, that's true.
See, well, and that's the other thing too. I was always talking like, what would have been interesting is after Kofi initially won the match, like have him go heel.
No, have E and Woods go heel, because remember the story leading up to that would have been, okay, E and Woods have to beat the entire tag division to get Kofi a shot. You could have done an Evolution storyline where it's like they're celebrating and then boom, beat up Kofi. Like, we got you this shot.
Yeah, it's like I was talking to Bobby when it was happening. I was telling him, like, dude, what should happen is Kofi should be like, I can't believe this happened to me. I worked so hard to do this, and like this shows you what hard work when you put it in, blah blah blah. And Woods and Biggie would be like, wait, what the fuck? I mean, we got you that title shot. We put our body on the line to get you that title shot. You won, and now you're not going to thank us. And that could have easily led to a heel storyline for Woods and Big E. But I think that even with Kofi doing a heel turn, and we could still see him turn his back on New Day, and then we could see a different kind of story play out. But there's so many things they can do. And there's so many things they will not do that make sense. And the things they can do are going to make you scratch your head and say, what the fuck was that?
I feel like WWE's plan, I don't even know if this is a plan. Maybe this is just freaking Vince by nature at this point. Is he's going to do so much dumb shit, we're going to float to NXT. I'm going to float to NXT, watch it, and we're going to be invested into it, and then forget about AEW. Because I think the reason why we shift to AEW and not WWE, keyword here, WWE, not NXT, is because the dumb shit we see. We're just like, oh, I can't wait for AEW. I guarantee you guys say that shit off of an episode of SmackDown or Raw.
Oh, 100%. No, 100%. When we're watching Raw or SmackDown, I can't tell you whether it's be on the show or just we're texting each other on the messaging board. We have the messenger we have, or even on Twitter. Like, you watch Raw or SmackDown, you're telling yourself, dude, okay, I got 2 weeks left. 2 weeks left, and I can start watching AEW and be fucking done with Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, to be honest, sorry, Justin. To be honest, I actually fast forward through 90% of Raw and SmackDown. So
that's the reason why I usually don't. Here's the thing. For anyone listening at home, right? I live tweet. Raul live tweets during Raw and SmackDown, and I'll be honest with you, recently watching Raw has become such a fucking chore, because now you're like, oh great, look, it's another fucking cheesy storyline. Or look, dude, what's her face? They're trying to figure out who her baby daddy is. Is this really happening?
Sorry, Mari's actually 2 buildings down. This is Monday Night Raw.
Dude, it's so it's bad.
It's like cringy, dude. Like, what the fuck? Why is that even a thing? Like, why are you even thinking about that? You know what I mean?
I don't know if you guys saw TNA or watched Ring of Honor, but Mike Bennett, not Mike Kanellis, not this bitch made man. Mike Bennett was a fucking star in ROH and Impact, to the point where it was like, man, imagine hearing WWE. Wait a minute, his wife's that girl that used to be the announcer and used to play dumb.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder what happens if they come to the main roster. Boom, they finally come to the main roster.
See,
they're a fucking joke.
Here, and the sad part is this is the only example of who I have as Mike Kanellis. I don't know his previous stuff, so I just look at this guy and be like, what a bitch. And then the part that really upsets me is they have this whole shitty like, oh, Ricochet's the baby's dad, and then it turns around, it's like, actually, someone you haven't seen in fucking 4 months, Rusev is his dad, and you're like, no, don't do this. Don't drag Rusev's fucking name through the mud to push your storyline.
Nah, man, it's already in the mud.
It's so sad, dude.
You know what they should be doing right now? All right. I guarantee you this is a fucking given at this point. They did it. They've done it with Enzo. They did it to Aiden English on commentary. They are doing it to Mike. They did it with Buddy Murphy. If you don't know what to do with these people, put them on 205. If it's a jacked guy like Rusev, guess where you're going? We're on cable now. Your ass is going to NXT.
There you go. Dude, he would kill NXT again.
Mm-hmm, he would. I think he would be really good in NXT. He could have some phenomenal matches over there. But
something, after actually bringing that up, something else that'd be interesting is if they were to do if they were to send Rusev to NXT UK and be with Cesaro again. That would be fucking neat.
And I think freaking Vince one day is just going to look up on this shit and he's going to be like, wait a minute, these are all good ideas. This is how we're going to blow AEW out of the water. Because as of right now, who do we know from AEW exactly? Like off the top of my head, I can only name you the Elite, Chris Jericho, and Darby Allin because I love his coffin drop.
Well, honestly, like the only person aside from those folks the only two people I care about would be fucking Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that.
No, we're gonna get into the tag division soon, but like let's get back to NXT and AEW right now. We've been like all over the place. We've been in every fucking company.
Yeah.
But
no, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Basically, what AEW needs to do is build your names up. Like, I get Cody needs to win, but I think, and Darby Allin said this in an interview. I forgot what his name was. It was like Chris Van something. He had a fun match with Cody. It was great. It had people talking, and then it got overshadowed by Shawn Spears accidentally giving Cody a almost concussion.
Yeah.
That, in all honesty, bad timing. Horrible timing. If that was the case, have Cody lose.
Yeah.
This way, oh man, freaking Shawn Spears bashed Cody's head in. Darby Allin picked up a victory over a former ROH world champion. I know who Darby Allin is now.
Yeah, they botched that really bad. They really fucking let that go. I don't know why that even happened, to be honest, but it was shit. It pissed me off.
Something that comes to mind when I think of Cody always winning his matches, and if we go to the AEW weekly show and we see the same thing where Cody always wins, the quote that comes to mind is you either die the hero or live to see yourself become the villain. It is a very fine line, I think, between being considered a Cody and then a Vince. Right now, Cody is like the face of the commissioners or the face of the CEOs, right? Vince has already dug his grave deep enough. No one fucking likes him. I'm sure even I'm sure she's not around or he's not around, but his parents are probably like, we don't like you anymore. But when it comes down to Cody's the cool guy because he's the new guy mixing things up. But when you bring your weekly show, if you never lose a match,
if Cody goes undefeated 2 months, there's a problem.
100%. That's exactly what I'm getting to, is the fact that if the billing is not there and we don't see the caliber of matches to warrant the name The Elite or All Elite or anything elite related, then I think that at that point we can kind of call bullshit on AEW itself and say, all right, so here's the thing. You guys lied to us.
Yeah, like this company's literally revolved around you. There's a fucking problem. Oh man, Kenny's been losing a whole bunch of matches. Okay, so freaking you do realize Kenny's, I think, has signed a 2-year contract, and God forbid he doesn't like what he's seeing. Maybe I should try WWE.
And that was something I was considering too. Is when they said Cody, you would think that Cody would sign a longer contract, but he signed a 2-year. That's all he signed, and he signed a 2-year to be there with his friends and start the company up. But if they keep giving him the shaft and him losing all his matches, at that. He's bringing all the fire from NJPW under his belt, right? He's like saying, look at me.
This is his heat. Like, what was his first match? Double or Nothing was their first pay-per-view, right?
Yes.
I can't remember fucking Kenny's first match. It was against Jericho. All right, so his momentum, his match against Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom. We've already covered it. It was a 5-star. You guys can go back and watch it if you want. It was a 5-star, great match. So, and we've already seen Alpha versus Omega.
True.
So going into Double or Nothing, and we get this Kenny versus Jericho. Okay, let's be honest. Freaking Jericho is getting old. Like, you're not going to be young forever. Kenny needs a younger talent. In all honesty, the main event shouldn't have been Alpha versus Omega. It should have been Kenny versus Cody.
Mm-hmm. And that's a match that I think everyone's waiting for, but they're holding off. I bet you that match happens on opening night.
I believe it. Like, the story will be something like, oh yeah, Cody has like a whole bunch of wins and Kenny has a whole bunch of L's. But like, this really won't do anything if scores 30-13 and you make that 1-3. Congratulations, scores 30-16 now. I'm still in the lead.
Very, very possible. But then also, I forgot that we have Moxley coming back, so we may see Omega take on Moxley and lose to Moxley, or any number of things that happen. I would like to see Cody and Omega. That would probably be my number one match to see. But also, I do want to find out. I want to see Omega get his revenge on Moxley. I do think, though, like kind of like in the general way that. The way that things that generally happen for things like this. Moxley and Omega are going to go at it. Moxley's going to beat Omega. And then we're going to see Omega come back and beat Moxley to pay-per-view. Just to be that triumphant win. And then if he's still on a losing streak, that would be the point in which he turns things around.
Yeah, because we know multiple faces of Kenny. I know you guys probably haven't seen like a lot of the independent scene, but freaking Kenny Omega in DDT wrestling when he was like 20 years old, 21 years old, Ring of Honor, New Japan, like early New Japan when he was a freaking cruiserweight. And then he joins Bullet Club and like he gained so much smoke and steam off of just being in the faction and then forming the Elite. Like just think about that. All Elite wrestling foundation is the Elite. That is the foundation. The Elite is a fucking YouTube channel.
That's true. That is true. The Elite YouTube channel is the only way I knew about the Elite. Otherwise, I would have never known about them because I don't watch a lot of the independents. So I would have never known who the fuck the Elite was unless I watch, unless I watched their YouTube channel.
And someone as more well traveled, because like I really wish that especially if we end up doing another show together, Kevin, our buddy Kevin, he is kind of our WWE archaeologist, right? I mean, he knows wrestlers from everywhere. So I relied on his information for a lot of these up and coming stars who maybe have made it big on TNA or maybe were big in Ring of Honor because he knows that shit, right? So when someone like Bobby and someone like you, obviously you guys know your shit, and you guys like, I only know these guys from YouTube, or these guys only got big on YouTube. It's like that to me tells me that if I didn't know that they were on YouTube, then obviously I would never heard of them. And coming into AEW with that fresh perspective, that's why I'm kind of like I'm really excited to see AEW, but that's why I'm still really like skeptical because I don't know what the hell to make of it because they're either going to be great, they're going to make me turn my back on NXT, the brand which I love. I bought the NXT title because that is a sexy ass title. I carry that shit around.
The old one or the new one?
The new one. They don't have the old one.
Mine's better. Anyways,
shut up, Bobby. Anyway, so like it's a great title, and NXT in my mind is the example of what WWE could do if they were to write coherent fucking storylines and not worry about who the baby daddies of fucking what's face. So like things like that are what differentiate and what will differentiate AEW from NXT WWE. But then once we get to a weekly show, is AEW going to succumb to the shitty storylines because it's a cheap pop? I don't know.
Honestly, when you think about it, I think what makes like WWE just go, oh my fucking god, like just I can't deal with this, is like Mondays and Tuesdays where it's like, if Monday Night Raw sucks and SmackDown sucks and let's even throw 205 sucks, do you really want to watch NXT?
Yeah, that's true.
Well, so and that having said that, I've been watching NXT like almost religiously for the past couple of months. If I ever miss a show, I will make sure to make it to watch it on Saturday. And if I can't watch it, I at least check Bleacher Report to get a review of it. But NXT, out of all of them, is one of the only shows I've actually ever really enjoyed, and I will go out of my way to watch it. I will do what Bobby does and fast forward through all the bullshit on Raw and on SmackDown. On NXT, granted, it's only an hour-long show. I have never once fast-forwarded through NXT saying, what the fuck is this? Let me fast-forward it. I have actually rewound more on NXT to watch a spot over and over again and to show my friend, to show my fiance, to say, oh my God. And she may not necessarily understand all the wrestling stuff and why I'm getting so excited about it, but the fact that NXT is important enough in my mind to have me do that tells me that NXT is not something I'll ever get bored of.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I was gonna say, I used to be that way with Raw and SmackDown, and then just all of a sudden, it just started going downhill, and we keep seeing the same things over and over again. So I feel you, Justin. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Honestly, I feel like you can't get like that boring feeling if we go with what I said about Rusev. People like Buddy Murphy, because you guys aren't doing jack shit with him. I don't know if this was on cable, but last week, me and Young Smooth went to Madison Square Garden, and we saw SmackDown live. And 15 minutes before the show started, we had a pre-show match. You know what that pre-show match was?
What was it?
It was Mustafa Ali versus Buddy Murphy.
Wow.
It was a good match. Don't get me wrong. But going through SmackDown, sitting my ass down and watching whatever the fuck I was watching, and I was live, front row seats and everything. I saw The Undertaker freaking do his 10-minute walk and can go grab a soda, take a piss, come back. He still hasn't made it to the ring yet. Sami Zayn, he gets chokeslammed. Okay, that's a segment that deserves to be on the main. Andrade Cien Almas versus The Miz. You could have clearly made that the 15-minute one. Mandy Rose versus Nikki Cross. You could have made that the 15-minute one. There are just so many options where it's just like, why is Buddy Murphy versus Ali the 15-minute mark?
You know, I think what it comes down to is it is 100% biased.
I think it's nostalgia. I think it's nostalgia, personally.
Yeah, well, so I mean, like, if you tell somebody, "Hey, tonight on Raw," because on paper, right? If you show me that lineup on paper, I'm going to say this sounds like it could be a pretty good show, right? But then we also know that when it comes down to Nikki Cross, nothing against Nikki Cross, but she's nowhere near as where she was before. And putting her together with Alexa Bliss, it puts way too much of a dependence. You have dependency issues there 100%. Like Nikki Cross is doing everything she can to impress Alexa Bliss. Kayfabe aside, though, you know, just wrestling ability, I didn't enjoy it. That's all I'm going to say. There's almost every match that we had, I wasn't like, oh, this is great. I did enjoy the Andrade Miz match a little bit more than
This is showing me why he should be on 205.
The Miz, which okay, so I will say this: the Miz was at a top tier where he was doing great heel work, but he doesn't work as a face.
It's because Miz and Misses, like, and the problem is, why the fuck right after SmackDown or Raw you're gonna show Miz and Misses?
Oh yeah, it completely breaks all kayfabe.
Like, imagine like the Miz cuts the greatest heel promo ever, and then after this Miz and Misses, and we see Miz being a great father of Monroe, and him being excited that he's going to be a father of two. And it's like, yeah, this guy can't be a heel. Like, look how nice this guy is.
That makes sense, because when you watch him in the ring versus you watching him sit there, you know, coddle two children or coddle his daughter and give his wife butterfly kisses, you're like, is this the same guy who just threatened to eviscerate somebody in front of Madison Square Garden? Because I don't think that's the same guy.
Yeah, it's true. But just remember, if it sounds like kayfabe, it probably is, Justin, because you said it breaks kayfabe. So
all of these reality TV shows, Total Battles, Total Divas, Miz TV.
Oh my God.
All of this shit has killed wrestling.
It has. It definitely has 100%. And also, like, I know Stone Cold's not in wrestling, like not wrestling, but you know, when he comes out and he does his promo or whatever he does, you know, and then he drinks beer and then all this, and then you flash back over to his, you know, his show. It's just like, well, we just saw him do this and now he's doing this.
To be 100% fair, I don't think I've watched a single episode of his new show on USA where he wasn't drinking a beer and being Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah, he's not yelling at everyone like, I'm going to stop a mud hole and you drop it. But he is still being Stone Cold. So, I mean, like, when you think about it, you're kind of getting a little bit of a mixture, right? You're getting that the Texas rattlesnake, and then you're also getting Broken Skull Stone Cold, which honestly, I think the later in his career, we had more of a Broken Skull Stone Cold versus the Texas Rattlesnake was straight up middle and beginning of his career. Well, not when he was studying Steve, right? But like when he came out as Steve Austin, he did the 316. Like everyone was like, this guy he's the Texas Rattlesnake. You know, giving stunners to to Deborah McMahon. Not Deborah McMahon. What's her face?
Did to everyone.
Linda McMahon.
The fucking president.
Yeah. Well, so that's what I'm saying. Like when he was doing all that shit, and now later in his career, he kind of got toned down a bit right before he retired. I mean, that was like the Broken Skull Stone Cold. And I say Broken Skull because that was more of him doing his Broken Skull challenge and stuff. And he was a little bit more toned down, but still very aggressive.
See, I can see this Stone Cold on NXT with Hunter being like, all right, this is how we can do that. Like I can see Stone Cold being a mentor. Like there are so many opportunities and so much talent on the main roster. Just send them straight back to NXT. Like we heard that there's a draft, and this most fucked up game of Uno is finally going to end.
Yeah, dude.
The wild card rule.
If I had to hear
the wild card rule is in effect.
Yeah, if that whole thing, the wild card rule is in full effect tonight on SmackDown. You know, like if I hear that shit again, I promise you, I will. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Honestly, I really won't do much. I'll send Michael Cole a really nasty email and say, "I fucking hate you." But But
there's a lot of people I think should go to NXT, and then there's a lot of people where there's like Vince is like, hey, sign here, read the fine print. The shit's secretly gonna say 10 years. By the way, if you go to AEW, I'm going to shank you in your sleep. Like that, I feel like Vince is doing that to all of his talent because you get a 5 year, you get a 5 year, you get a 5 year. Oh yeah, by the way, you know how you're getting paid $2 million? Let's make that a $5 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's all because he's shitting himself over AEW. You should send Mustafa Ali, Andrade, Buddy Murphy, Aleister Black, Rusev, like a lot of people back to NXT or that have never been to NXT should start there because you're not doing shit with them on the main roster.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And if you're not gonna do shit with them on Raw or SmackDown, and you choose not to put them on NXT, hey, my contract's up. Hey, Cody, where do I sign?
100%, 100% agree with you. But the only thing about the NXT part, because I do think that right now we're in that perfect. Granted, we only do 1 hour shows, right?
Yes.
But with that 1 hour show being said, and then when you go to 2 hour, maybe it's going to change. But right now with that 1 hour show, we're in that sweet spot where we have just the right amount of talent to where you're getting the most exposure without being oversaturated. The fact that I don't see Matt Riddle every week, but I see him like every other week is like the perfect amount of bro, so it's totally okay with me. But if we start adding like Rusev and Aleister Black and Ricochet and bring everyone back or add people who never went to NXT, now we're going to have a show where these people who worked really hard to get where they're at, to get the crowd approval, they could potentially be put in the back burner because now they have people like could you imagine? It would never happen. But if they end up moving Roman Reigns to NXT, that would fuck everybody over because now kids would love NXT. And now, Undisputed, Adam Cole would lose the title to Roman Reigns, and Adam Cole would cease to exist. And that's something that NXT has worked really hard for. And I if that ever happened, I promise I would stop watching wrestling. I don't know. I would do that.
All right, let's all pick one guy to send to NXT. If I had to choose one guy that I need in NXT, and trust me, there's a fucking list. I need in NXT, it's Drew McIntyre.
Oh my god, that's a good one.
Yeah, but
I'm feuding with Adam Cole right now.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I would like to see somebody different because he started in NXT.
You didn't do much with him.
But he also did good for the brand. But I would agree with that. I think that he would be a good selection for NXT. Bobby, like, what about you then, Bobby? If you think that he already did it, whatever. Well, who do you think? Who would you send?
Actually, a guy that we were talking about earlier. I think Baron Corbin would be good over there.
No, I could not agree with that.
Honestly, I think he would. I think he would. Yeah, he established himself on the main roster, right?
He's a rocket up his ass, man. I don't know how far he can go.
No, I agree with that. But what I'm saying is it'll bring – you can only have so many different matches on Raw and SmackDown, right? Yeah. If they bring him to NXT, he can have even more matches with people that he hasn't had matches before. If you just keep him on SmackDown and Raw, he's going to have the same feuds because we all know how Raw and SmackDown is. You bring him over there, he can establish himself as King Corbin over there as well and still keep up the persona and have some great matches with other people.
Legitimately, the only place legitimately the only place that I would like to see Baron Corbin might be the unemployment line. No, okay. So I say that I do appreciate Baron Corbin. I do. I think that King Corbin's a great shtick that he has going on, but I would just say that Baron Corbin, I think, is fine where he's at because he's being pushed. He's gonna get a title shot, and eventually we're gonna see King Corbin reach that pinnacle of like, I fucking hate this guy. I hate to love him because he's doing good. I think that if I had to pick somebody to send back to NXT, honestly, the only name, and I know you're going to probably give me shit for this, Bobby, but the only name that I could think of, someone who needs to go back to NXT because it's going to be great for his career, would be EC3. Only because he gets such a raw deal. The fact that the only couple times I saw him wrestle, most notably, the worst time I saw him wrestle was when he was being used against fucking Dean Ambrose. Oh, and true. That was such a shit show. And I was like, dude, the mighty have fallen. It was such a bad look for him because he comes off NXT on this like a hot heel streak. right? He was doing great. He had a great heel work. He was a great champion. The dude was where he needed to be, and I can see why they'd call him up, because when you look at him, he's kind of like a smaller version of Brian Cage, right? He looks like he's beefy, like he's mean, but he can move. But we haven't been able to see that side of EC3 because the fact that all they do with him is have him hold a red Solo cup and chuckle to himself, at least on the live shows. On the shows. When he's doing live house shows, then yeah, he's winning 24/7 titles and maybe he gets more matches, but that's not where you're getting a majority of your viewers, and they're doing him a disservice by keeping him there. So if they were to move him back to NXT, I think he'd get better exposure. Of course, also I think at this point the point may be moot. It may not be something that would be beneficial to him at all, but I would say him. If I had to send somebody back to to NXT today, I would say EC3, because I don't know. I don't get tired of watching him wrestle because he's good.
Okay, now that we've gotten people back in NXT, now pick one person who you would like needs to get the fuck out of WWE and get their ass in AEW. I'll start Sami Zayn.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
You know, if they can take him off the PG shit, I think Sami Zayn has good mic work, and I think he could do really well in AEW.
Yeah, like honestly, I think Sammy needs to get the fuck out of there and get into AEW, just because anyone that's seen his amazing feud with Kevin Owens 2015, 2016, amazing matches, truly the heart of underdog of the underground. Like, he really stuck to. I don't know what the fuck this guy is. The watered down CM Punk.
Holy shit. You know what? Something, dude. I haven't thought about that feud in forever, but I remember that feud leading up to Royal Rumble and stuff, 2016. It maybe wasn't happening around the same time, but I remember watching those matches and going, God damn it, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are putting on like clinics. They're doing great work. They have someone who's the underdog face versus the overbearing heel. They used to be friends, now they hate each other. It was so good point.
But now look what he's doing. He's being a mouthpiece, which I do believe Shinsuke needed since day one. If you guys don't go the whole subtitle route, which I honestly believe you don't need subtitles for anyone. All right, like the Kabuki Warriors, you guys have Paige. Authors of Pain, they had this dude. If anything, you should have made Shinsuke a Paul Heyman guy.
Yeah, that's true.
But,
I don't know. I mean, Shinsuke being a Paul Heyman guy, I don't know about that. I mean, he would be a good mouthpiece for Shinsuke, but I think Sami Zayn is actually a really good mouthpiece right now for Shinsuke. Honestly, Sami Zayn has the charisma. Yeah, he has the charisma and everything. So I think what they're doing right now with them two, I think that's good. You know what I mean? So, I mean, the Paul Heyman guy, yeah, it's a kind of a good thing, but I think that what they're doing right now with him is great.
But having said that, I think that we're going to get the logical ending. I think Shinsuke is going to turn on Sami Zayn because Sami Zayn is going to overstep bounds. Or, of course, we could have Sami Zayn turn on Shinsuke, but that's like the obvious turn, and I don't think they're going to want to go the most obvious route. Then again, it's WWE. I don't know.
That's true.
If I had to send somebody to AEW, if I said, like, you know, dude, you've done your work here, we need you to go to AEW, only because I think that he would do good, is R-Truth. I would send R-Truth to AEW in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a good pick. I think that he would be good. I just think that with the way that WWE is right now, and with the whole PG thing and everything, if he went to AEW now, I don't think that people would take him serious, to be honest.
Well, so I thought about that, right? And I think what they should do is you know, they had to slowly not make him so stupid, because if you just flip the switch and all of a sudden he's like, hey, I'm R-Truth, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here to whoop the shit out of you because I'm R-Truth. It's like, wait a second, you were just making jokes and you did dance time, a dance break. Like, what is this? So if you have him kind of keep that funniness, that little bit of like a silly attitude of him, and then you also have him wrestle really well, like we've seen him do, then I think that we kind of have a happy medium. But just to have him sit there and just do nothing but dance breaks with Carmella, it just feels like it's underutilizing him.
Dance break. I think that I think the person I think should go over to AEW, or I would like to send over to AEW, because they haven't really done much with him and they've dropped the ball with him a bunch of times, is Finn Balor, to be honest. Have him back as Prince Devitt. Go back and he could have some phenomenal matches with anybody over there pretty much. I think that he would be good over there at AEW, to be honest.
I can get that.
I can see that.
Although I think that I may have just also potentially changed my vote for who should go back to NXT.
All right, who should go back to NXT?
Damn good. No,
Yeah,
I'm saying
he was
Finn
actually
Balor.
pretty damn good.
Something else though. One other group that I just want to kind of throw out there, because of the fact that we kind of touched on this past week on SmackDown and Raw, because it was on both. Dude, that promo for AOP had me so fucking over. Mm-hmm. I was like, dude, I cannot wait. They dropped get rid of the bulletproof vest and have him look like Hitman, dude. That was amazing. I was like, these guys.
Yeah, that got me over. Like, I was actually excited for this.
Yeah, out of nowhere, a common Razor. I was like, dude, this is amazing.
But all right, last question. Then we're gonna have to wrap this up. What is the one thing that you think? Let's say 5 months from now. 5 months. What's the one thing you see that NXT can do that'll make you go, "What the fuck's AEW?" And what's one thing AEW can do that'll make you say, "What the fuck's NXT?" 5 months from now.
So 5 months from now. Okay, so the one thing that that would make me turn my back on AEW, at least for a majority of the time, would be I made the comment earlier of having Undisputed Era kind of have this Nexus-y feel. Having Undisputed Era not only take over NXT, but then also have them jumping back and forth between Raw and just fucking people up. And then also that would be a good start. But there's a storyline that I've always brewed up in my mind, and that's going to be Adam Cole is talking all his shit about how NXT runs the show, and then Triple H could be like, what are you talking about? It's my show. He challenged him to a title match, and he's like, yeah, cool, I got you, but what do you want a title for? He's like, I don't want your title. You're going to put it up. He's like, you're going to put up the NXT gold. And he's like, okay, cool, I got you. And he's like, no, I don't think you understand this. If you lose the title, you lose the tag teams, and you lose the North American Championship. And all of Undisputed Era is like, no, don't do it. And Adam Cole's like, I'm better than Triple H, so I'm going to do it. Triple H puts on a show with them. They put on a really good match, but at the end, of course, we can't have Adam Cole beat Triple H. So Triple H gets beat. They lose all the titles, and Undisputed Era implodes. Right? Adam Cole, it's a good chance for him to potentially get knocked up to main roster, and Undisputed Era potentially could pick up someone like Kevin Owens to lead them again. But having said all of that, storylines like that are what make NXT so exciting, and that is a storyline, or just rather anything to do with Undisputed Era being the baddest as they are, is still enough to keep me from AEW.
All right. Icon Bobby, what's one thing that'll keep you away?
So I kind of mine's going to be piggybacking off of Justin's a little bit. I'm a little bit hesitant about the Undisputed Era like taking over NXT. And the only reason is because it reminds me of NWO in WCW, and we see how well that worked out for. It only worked out for a certain amount of time, and then it just got boring. I don't want that to happen with them. So to me, I just think that as long as they push either their top guys and keep them up there and have them have phenomenal matches and don't water down their matches like they do with Raw and SmackDown, if they can do that within 5 months, I think that would be awesome. And that would make me actually stick with them versus AEW. Because the thing is with me is AEW does not really have, they have the match quality, but
they don't have name ringers.
They don't have name ringers, and their storytelling, they're getting better with their storytelling, but they don't have as big of stories to tell as NXT does right now. You know what I mean? So in 5 months, if they can elevate that, I think that would be phenomenal for NXT.
For me, what would keep me away from AEW would be, all right, so it's no secret, it's already confirmed. We're gonna TNT 205 Live. We're gonna fucking drop the bomb on it. Everyone abandon ship on the NXT. We're doing that. What'll keep me away is I want to see Oni Lorcan versus Walter. I want to see Ricochet versus Kushida. Not Ricochet. I want to see Kushida versus Kyle O'Reilly. I want to see all these matches that you're just like, damn, why the fuck were you on 205? That'll keep me away from AEW, because AEW is like guys that are in their 20s and 30s. I feel like I can miss 3 years of AEW, finally watch it. Oh wait, you're 23. I still have hella time to grow on you.
You know, something else then to kind of add to all of this is I don't really think we can have too much Matt Riddle. I said a week in between. That's cool. I wouldn't mind a Matt Riddle on every week because fucking King of the Bros has got my vote.
Actually, I'd love to see the King of the Bros versus the Ace of the Junior Division. I'd love to see Kushida versus Matt Riddle, submission match.
100%. That would be
Drew
amazing.
Gulak versus Matt Riddle. All these great matches will really make me forget what AEW is.
Oh, Ruas versus Matt Riddle would be a good one.
Yes, but now let's vice versa. What in AEW can keep you away from NXT?
I want to see the purveyor of violence be unleashed upon AEW and destroy everybody. If John Moxley comes back and is finally given the seat as the rider of death by Apocalypse, I would be totally okay with that, because I've been looking forward to seeing John Moxley in action. I've always heard great stories, and I want to see him do what he does best. I want to see him put people away. I want to see him be the character that we always kind of saw under the surface of Dean Ambrose. Like the Lunatic Fringe had to have a start somewhere, and I think we all know where this is going. And I think that this is going to be it's just going to be great. If John Moxley can really bring it and have great matches with Omega, we can start seeing Omega winning, and give me that Omega that was from NJPW that sold houses. You know, the one that who would make your jaw drop off of those big spots. I want to see what AEW, why they're called All Elite. Give me that, and I promise you, if you can give me everything I want and more, okay, cool. You have me.
Yeah. I kind of. You literally took those words straight out of my mouth, because I was actually going to say John Moxley as well. I think if we get more John Moxley, we get him back to the John Moxley that he first started with, kind of like what Justin was saying. I think it would be fucking phenomenal. So many good matches that he can have. Also, one other thing, sorry, I'm just going to change it up a little bit because I don't want to just keep copying off of Justin, even though he's wrong 90% of the time. I also feel like if they can bring in or steal some of the talent, even from Impact Wrestling, before they actually go under or anything like that, and then have matches with John Moxley or Hangman Page or anybody like that, I think that would definitely get me to watch AEW more, because then we would have more names that we know in there, and more people would actually want to watch it. So I think that would probably get me to watch AEW more than NXT.
Similar to what you said, what I think will get me away from NXT and into AEW was, I think, a working relations with certain companies. Like, I think if you need work relations with a company like such as NJPW, you got Omega. Like, freaking Gato loves Omega. Like, he was sad to see him go. Hey, Gato, could we get some people just for a couple pay-per-views? Sure, no problem. But one condition. And I think this is a great way to have AEW get some publicity. I don't know if you guys know what a G1 is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the G1.
John Moxley was in it, and a lot of NJPW guys were just like, "Oh shit, Dean Ambrose is in New Japan now," and literally no, just like, actually no, his contract expires after Wrestle Kingdom, and you're gonna ask, wait, so where the fuck is he gonna be? AEW. Now you have a feeling of if you're a New Japan, now you're gonna go to AEW. You have more wrestling on your plate. John Moxley just got you to be a fan, and I think that's what will get me if you have like good working relations with other companies, even Impact Wrestling, because right now they have LAX, and although I don't believe in the current feud that should be with the Lucha Bros, because we already saw that 6 times in Impact. It's good to have a working relations, but if I could see Juice Robinson appear on AEW 2 times out of the whole year, I'd be like, oh shit, Juice is here. That's cool. If I could see Jimmy Havoc in the G1, I'll be like, oh shit, Jimmy Havoc versus Minoru Suzuki. Someone's gonna die now.
Right. Oh my god.
That would be crazy though.
Like, just to see all these crazy ass matches. Freaking Omega returns to New Japan, he returns in the G1, and we see Omega versus Okada, Omega versus Naito, Omega versus Jay White, and then you're just like, wait, he's not here permanently? Where is he? AEW. So much publicity you're getting, and you're giving us so many good matches at the same time. So that's what would like shift me. But gotta wrap this up, guys. So thank you guys for joining me on Talk for Glory. Smooth, I really wish you were here, man. It was fun doing this collab with Sounds Like Kayfabe.
Wow, it was awesome for you to have us on your show, Enigma. I definitely I can't wait to have you and Smooth to be on our show.
Yeah, exactly, man. You guys are welcome anytime. We really appreciate everything, man. It was really fun, and hopefully we can continue these conversations on the other side.
Yeah, remember, guys, drop a like, drop a sub. All links to my social medias, Sounds Like Kayfabes, and any other way you want to get in contact with us, we'll be there. We also have a Discord. I don't know if Sounds Like Kayfabe has one.
We're working on that.
So they're working on it. But you guys want to get in contact with any of us, Talk for Glory, Sounds Like Kayfabe, doesn't matter. We're not WWE and AEW. We're not at war. We're all together.
Yeah.
But thank you guys. Remember, guys, drop a like, drop a sub, and we're out.
All right, guys.
Good night, guys.